Hi, I'm Marvin, a tax consultant at the Unified Global, and I'm here to discuss about the restricted stock units. Um, let's move into the difference that I noted between the RSUs granted by the public companies and by the private companies. So the difference I noted is when the ordinary income is recognized or reported as a taxable income for the employees. So for the public companies, the ordinary income related to the RSUs are reported to the W2 on the date of vest of these RSUs. So when um, the RSUs are have vested, um, so the ordinary income relate related to this RSU is reported to the W2. So that is the fair market value multiplied by the number of RSUs of the employees. On the other hand, the private companies uh, issues RSUs to the employees, but the ordinary income related to the RSUs for these are only recognized or taxed when these private companies become public or when they have issued their initial public offering or when they arrive to the IPO itself. Um, that will be also the fair market value at the time of the IPO date multiplied by the number of RSU stocks. So this ordinary income of the uh, related to the RSUs are called phantom income if not sold. So this is on top of the regular salary and bonuses that the employee receive. Um, there is also a required tax withholding for these RSUs, and uh, sometimes the tax withholding rate will be lesser than the actual income tax bracket of the employee. So there may be times that the taxes of the employees that have been withheld from these RSUs are lower than the should be taxes. So how do we cover this under withheld taxes? So we can recommend to the client that they can pay for estimated taxes during the year, or they can elect to withhold more taxes by selling more number of RSUs to cover these taxes during the vesting or on the date of the taxable event. But remember that there is an opportunity cost when we withhold more for to cover the taxes, because when we withhold more for the covering of these taxes, the number of shares of the employees for these RSUs will be also lower. So very it would be better for the tax advisor and for the employee to really talk about it, to weigh the options on whether just to pay for estimated tax payments in the year if they have the money to do so, or they can just elect to withhold more taxes by sacrificing this number of RSUs to cover these taxes. So these are ordinary income related to the RSUs on the date of vesting, or on the in the case of the private companies on the date of the IPO date of the private company. Now, this ordinary income will be presented or reported to the W-2 of the employees. Now, we as tax advisors and tax consultants must track these adjustments to basis so that we can know, or we will know in the future when they will be selling these RSUs, um, that the fair market value on the vest date or the IPO date will be the new or the adjusted cost basis that we will be using for Schedule D or for Form 8949, since this has already been taxed um, on their W-2. Now let's proceed to when these RSUs are sold by the employees. So we will be determining the capital gains related to this selling of the RSUs. So determine the adjusted cost basis or the cost basis of these RSUs by knowing the fair market value at the time of vesting for public company RSUs and at the time of IPO date for private company RSUs. So the sale price of the or the proceeds of these selling of RSUs less the cost basis will be the capital gains and determine whether it is short term or long term. Um, this is to actually identify the amount of income that has not yet been taxed uh, related to these RSUs. So after that, we can recommend to the client what will be the estimated tax payments related to these RSUs. And if we can discuss with the client the opportunity zones that may be beneficial to the client, and or sell other stock losses to equalize the gains that they received or that they earned by selling on these RSUs. Now, the ordinary income that was earned during the vesting of these RSUs was reported through W-2. Now, the capital gains on this transaction, on this selling transaction, will now be reported to 1099B. And we tax advisors and tax consultants must ask for this and also get the supplemental tax form so that we may identify whether there is an adjusted cost basis that we must consider. Getting these supplemental tax forms is very beneficial, especially for the client, because um, there are times that in 1099B or on Form 1099B, the cost basis will be zero. So, um, as tax advisors and tax consultants, we now know that um, there is income that has been subjected already related to these RSUs that was reported in W-2. So, comparing it to the supplemental tax form, we may now know that the true or the adjusted cost basis should be higher than zero, and that will provide um, lesser reporting of capital gains, which is very beneficial for the client. So that's it for today. Uh, I hope you have learned something from this video, and thank you very much.